Hello, everyone. What's going on? Welcome. Thank you for tuning into our Black History Month education series, Design on Purpose. You know the deal. Take a minute to tell us where you're from, and as we'll get ready to start right now, okay? So, really quickly, just for an intro, my name is Javon. I am the COO of Mentor Me Collective. By day, I'm a software engineer, and by night, I am a content creator. And for this evening, I will be your host for the last episode of Design on Purpose. Listen, you heard me right. We are wrapping up our week long design series. So we've been getting into all things design all of last week and a little bit of this week. So today we're getting into design systems. Okay, listen. With that being said, as we wrap up today, we are gearing up for our next series. Um, at MMC, it's part of our mission to get first gen techies into the industry. And part of how we do that is by providing access and education. So, our next series for Women's History Month is software engineering. Listen, it's finna be so lit. Oh my gosh, you guys need to be there. So, and guess what? We had such an overwhelming response for Design on Purpose. We had to bring it back and we have it 2 weeks long. The software engineering series will be 2 weeks long. We'll be breaking down all of the different types of software engineers. So, if you have a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend who's trying to learn how to code, we need y'all to pull up. We need you to sign up and send the link to register for them. We will add the link to the chat right now to register below for the software engineering series coming up. All right. So I'm going to quickly do some housekeeping, but while I do that, like I said, let me know who's in the building. We really want to know who you guys are, right? The best. That's the only way we can serve our community the best way. So tell us why you're here. What are you expecting to learn? Um, what are you looking forward to hearing? And are you in tech? What's your experience? Are you trying to break into tech? And then what I want you to do is put your LinkedIn uh, link right underneath that and start networking with each other. So even if you're watching the rerun right now, I want you to still take a moment to tell us where you're from, what you're doing, and your industry experience. And then again, attach that link to the bottom, okay? Um, right now, let me get into some housekeeping. Sorry, guys. Take a moment to share this. When you share this, share it to your LinkedIn, share it to your to your Instagram, your Twitter. Do all of the things, okay? Let everybody know. You never know whose life it may change. It's only an hour long, so we want you to take a quick moment to share it, even if you have to share the recording, okay? Next slide, we're getting into is just a little bit of announcements. So the last event of the month of Black History Month will be our Black on the Scene event. So, Black on the Scene is basically our Black mental health event where we sit down with a Black psychologist and we talk all things mental health. And after that, we will have a panel called Our Ancestors' Wildest Dreams. So, this is where we're going to chat, have in an intimate setting with our tech cousins, and we're going to talk about how they broke into the industry and all the things they had to overcome. So, that will be taking place this Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time. Okay, so make sure that you sign up for that as well. Please, we're going to put the link in the chat as well for you to sign up for that. So yes, listen, this is the meat and the potatoes of some of the of my announcements. So MMC is offering free mentorship, guys, free mentorship. It's a 3-month program that supports with job seeking services and building technical skills. And this is great for anyone who wants to get into design, engineering, data science, and any PMs. I encourage you guys to run on over and apply. We're only looking for about 30 to 40 people, so it's a very small and intimate setting. This is an awesome opportunity for people looking to break into tech and land some high-paying 6-figure roles. And we have receipts, y'all, so we're not just sitting there, blowing smoke. We have receipts. Some of our mentees have gone on to collectively secure up to 22 million in total compensation for their roles. You heard that right. 22 million. Okay. So what we want you to do is go to the website mentormecollective.org. You're going to click on mentorship and then click on become a mentee to apply. Okay. And then we're also looking for some volunteers. So we're currently looking for volunteers for social media, email admins, and event coordinators, impact and outreach coordinators. Again, go to our website, click on get involved, and make an appointment with me, Javon C, to apply. And then we will reach back out to you with next steps. Okay. All right. Listen, y'all. We got some MMC text reminders. So dope. We only text you for events and giveaways. Okay. We're not gonna be in your inbox like that annoying ex. Listen, we're gonna the only those two things. Giveaways and events. So make sure you text MMC to 866-901-1914 so you'll never miss an event again, right? We were having a lot of people coming to us and saying, oh, you know, I missed this event. Is there a recording? Is there this? We usually do record our events, but just so you don't miss them, you can sign up for these MMC text alerts, okay? And our Etsy shop is live. We all the way live. So our Etsy shop is live. We released some exclusive merch just for BHM, and it's pretty lit. We've been doing pretty well. So we will also be dropping new merch for Women's History Month. So keep an eye open for that. Go ahead and visit uh, our Etsy shop. All of the proceeds go towards helping Black and Latinx newbies in tech that need software and devices. So, if you know a little bit of my story, you know that when I first started to get into software engineering, I could barely afford a laptop. So, this is like a big deal. It's kind of great, and this is some of the merchandise we have here. Oh, sorry, maybe not. But some of the merchandise we have is like t-shirts. We have also like fleece sheets, and then we have like tumblers, cups, stickers, all of the things. Okay. So now I'm going to get into our BHM giveaway. We have a giveaway. We're giving away some really cool prizes. Some of them include one of the BHM shirts from our line. Uh, we're giving away oh wait, hold on, I'm sorry y'all, this is not what I want to show. Sorry, we're giving away some BHM shirts from our line, a HomePod Mini, and also a Apple wristband for the watch. Not the watch. Don't come at me, y'all. Not the watch, just the wristband, um, and a hydrate water bottle. So those hydrate water bottles are pretty cool. It kind of has the incentives where it tracks your water intake, and then you can go and you can compete with some of your friends. So that's pretty dope. So here are some ways to enter the giveaway. We want you to show that you were here by taking pictures with our photo booth. So I'm going to show you the QR code in a second so you can take pictures with that. The second way is to take notes. When you sign up for our text reminders, we're going to send you a quick quiz. Sorry. What is wrong with me? We're going to send you a quick quiz. And then the third one, I'm sorry, is to connect with us. All right. So while you do that, I'm going to show you right now how you can sign up for our slides. So for our photo booth. So take your phone out, scan the screen right now, right? And what's going to pop up is a website. It's going to take you to a website. You can either take a selfie right then and there, or you can upload your favorite selfie and then share it with the group. Okay. That's how we know you were here. So you want to make sure to do that. Okay. This slide, listen, I had to bless y'all a little bit with some melanin on your screen. Okay. I had to bless y'all. So this is some of the pictures that we got of some of our amazing attendees slaying and killing the game. Okay. Also, like I said before, take notes. When you sign up for the text reminders, we will send you a quick quiz to show that you were here based on some of the information that you learned today. And finally, again, stay connected. We're everywhere, literally, we're everywhere. We're on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Okay. But now this is what y'all really came for. So, like I said, you know how we do this, guys. Get into the chat and start amping up our guests right now because it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I need a really warm welcome for Jarvis. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. It's going. How are you?
Doing good. It's Wednesday, so we're halfway through the week. Can't
Yes,
complain.
halfway through the week for sure. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into the tech industry?
Yeah, so I actually started in graphic design. So doing a lot for print, and then as graphic design's evolved, it's kind of worked its way into the digital space.
Mhm.
Um, and so I just kind of felt stuck and felt like I wanted to design, but I wanted to design with more purpose and to be able to level up my career. And UX was the pathway that I found for myself. So I went the self-taught route though, so it was a long journey. It took me maybe 2 years to like learn it and be able to land a role in UX. But um, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't have had it any other way. Like it gave me some grit and determination, and I'm able to share that with other people and show them that there's a way outside of boot camps or college degrees to break into tech. And so I love it, and it's allowed me to like climb the ranks and get to peaks that I didn't know were possible, and be where I'm at today at LinkedIn, working on their design system.
Awesome. I really love that story. My story is a little bit similar too. Self-taught gang all day. I also went to a boot camp too, but still self-taught. I started out that way. I really like that. I'm really looking forward to your session and learning more about you. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to get off the stage and allow you to go. Okay.
Sounds good.
All
Awesome. So we're gonna kind of go high level on design systems today for the Design Systems 101. Um, Anybody who wants to kind of get a deeper dive, please reach out anytime. I'm always happy to chat. But for today, we're gonna keep it pretty high level and just give you guys the basics of what a design system is. And so for the agenda, we have what is a design system, what a design systems designer does, so what I do on a day-to-day basis, and then the impact that a design system has on products. So first, let's get into what a design system is. So Envision's definition for a design system is a collection of reusable components guided by clear standards that can assemble together to build any number of applications. And so this is very true. Design systems help build applications quicker and more efficiently, but most people only know a design system as probably one of these three things: a UI kit, a component library, or an engineering repo. Um, but in all actuality, a system is much more than that. And the things that we do encompass way more things than just designing components. And it looks more like this, to where we have the UI kit and an eng repo, documentation, content guidelines, typography, color token spacing, all of these other things.
How are you still in the meeting when I don't see anybody that's different?
It's okay, Bubby. It's an event. You want to say hi?
Yeah.
All right.
What's their name though?
I don't know. It's a lot of people.
Hi.
All right, go. Go watch your show. Let me
Push
finish.
me again. Push me again.
Bubby.
It's supposed to push me. So do.
Sorry about that, y'all. But yes, it encompasses so many other things than just a component library or UI kit. All of these other things we encompass and we tackle on a day-to-day basis. And so we'll kind of dig into some of the pieces of a very basic design system. So not all of these things happen at once. Usually we start with just a few things. So it starts with the design library. This is your UI kit. This is what people use in Figma or Sketch or XD or whatever platform you build in. You have that shared file that has your buttons and your icons and any other components that get used across all of your products. And so that's just simply a design library. That's just one little aspect. And so after that, you get into the code repository. This is the engineering equivalent to what we have on the design side in Figma. It's what they have, sometimes in like a storybook or a GitHub that they share out to have components shared across different products on the engineering side. And then where they kind of meet and merge together is in the documentation. So oftentimes the documentation is like the source of truth for a design system. This gives you insights into how to use the different components, both on the design side and the engineering side, as well as just general guidance on how that company wants their system to translate to the users. So one of the things that we have at LinkedIn is we want people to have a warm and human experience on the platform. And so that's something that we try to display through our design system. And that's reflected in our documentation. So those three things together are typically what make up a very, very basic level design system. If you have your design library, your code repo, and your documentation, that's really what it takes. Everything else is kind of icing on the cake. And the more advanced you get, the more things you're going to add on top of that system to make it really functional and really robust. But let's keep it moving. So what does a design systems designer do? And I wanted to share this quote that without a shared design language and practice, collaboration is difficult. So that's one of the things that we do. We make collaboration easier. And let's see how we do it. We build bridges between the teams. So typically when you're working in an organization, in your product teams, you are very focused on what your problem is. But it's a little bit different on design systems. We have that horizontal view, that eagle eye, where we're looking across the entire organization instead of just a single product or feature. And so we can typically spot areas where design is being duplicated quicker than the designers on the teams can. And so we help build those bridges so that people talk more, people communicate more, and we can build more efficiently. So in the words of Drew, a design system acts as the connective tissue that holds together your entire platform. So next, we look beyond the component. So design systems is much, much more than just building components. If we get into what I do on a daily basis, I actually don't build components at all. I'm on at LinkedIn's team, I'm on the side of the design system that does everything else but build components. We develop the Figma strategy. We look at building custom plugins. We look at how we can drive adoption, how we're going to build excitement for the system and help people understand even how to use it and teach them how to use it. And even sometimes help them upgrade their Figma fluency so that they can leverage the design system to its full capabilities. So there's a whole entire world of systems outside of just making components. And then lastly, we drive innovation and technology. This is not necessarily true for all systems, but a good system will help drive innovation and it will help advance a company's technology. Typically, if you want a new version of technology to be introduced company-wide, that is a really, really hard thing to do. But if you have a design system and that design system leverages that new technology, then that transition is a lot easier for teams to migrate to. And then lastly, we're going to look at the impact of a design system. So let's start with the impact of the users. And to quote Ala again, creating consistency is like making small promises throughout the interface. When people can be confident of what will happen, they can rely on the product. Consistency helps to build trust. So this is the main thing that we want a design system for our users. It helps them to understand the user experience and it helps create consistency throughout the experience. So if they see a blue button and that blue button is an action, then every other blue button that they see throughout that experience, they're already going to be hardwired to understand what that means because we've created that consistent experience for them. And so that's really what it's all about, to create predictability and consistency so that we're not causing undue stress onto our users. We don't want to increase their cognitive load. We want to decrease it on as many places as possible so that we can focus on solving that problem for them and keeping them coming back to our product or application. The other impact is on the business. So the two things that a system does for the business is it saves money and it reduces debt. And so this is a really good diagram of that money to kind of debt ratio. And so the thing about it saving money is that it helps create efficiencies. So instead of building a button 50 times in 50 different places across a product, you can build it once and reuse that thing 50 times. So it cuts down on the repetitive design that you see a lot of the times. It also reduces debt eventually. So when you initially implement a design system, it's going to cause debt. It's not going to reduce debt. But if you look at the longevity of the system, kind of like in this diagram here, you see that that initial arch is very steep for the system. It's going to seem to be more expensive. It's going to seem to take a lot of time. But as you progress through it, it will start to taper off and start to save you money and make you money and reduce the debt in the long term. In the short term, it will not do that. It will cause debt. But if you stick with it, it will definitely be a lifesaver. And then probably the most important part for everybody here is the impact on product teams. And so I saw this great quote by Micah Godbolt that said, once we get past the tedium of building the same thing over and over again, we can focus our energy on more worthwhile tasks like accessibility, performance, and iteration. We can work on the fun stuff rather than the tedious things. And that's exactly what a system does. It allows you to focus on the actual problems. We shouldn't have to think about what a form field looks like, what a button looks like, what a card looks like. That should be set for us through a system. And then we should be able to really focus in on what our user goals are, what their problems are, and how we can solve them. And so we can do the fun stuff. We can iterate, we can ideate, we can, go down the rabbit holes because we don't have to think about the very trivial things that a system covers for us. And so even with this, a good system will allow you that flexibility to explore and not hinder that exploration. And so this is probably the most important thing for product teams. And being in systems, I see this happen all the time where we talk with teams and we ask them how they like the system, and they're blown away by the time that it saves them and the amount of exploration that they're able to do now that time is freed up. And so that's kind of all I have. I wanted to keep it really high level and short and sweet and to the point. And so I know we have some Q&A where we can ask questions. So I really would love to open it up, hear the questions you guys have, and see how I can help.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Jarvis. How did y'all feel about that? Let me know in the comments how y'all felt about this presentation. I thought it was awesome. First of all, listen, any gifts involved, you won me over. Any gifts involved in a presentation, I'm good. I'm good to go. It's top tier at that point. Yes. One of the questions that we got in the background was, is LinkedIn hiring?
Yes, LinkedIn is hiring. We're growing exponentially. So yes, we do have several open positions. And so if anybody's interested, go to design.linkedin.com. You can see all the open roles and get a sneak peek at what it's like to work at LinkedIn.
Okay. So are you hiring for just design, or like is it just all types of roles, right?
We have all types of roles. I only know the link to the design side, but yes, we have tons of openings. I know when I actually started in December, and there was about 100 people who were in my orientation class. So we're growing like crazy.
So how big is your team? Is your team like y'all a squad, or like you know what I'm saying?
So it's funny because the systems team is a team of about 20. And that sounds big for a design team, But thinking that there's over 300 designers at LinkedIn, we're not huge, but we get a lot done.
Oh wow. Okay. Love that. Love that. So what would you say? What would you say? Because I'm trying to help the good folk out. What would you say is the number one quality needed to do your job? Like maybe you could give us a soft skill and then a hard technical skill that's important for your job.
Yeah, the the biggest one is just the curiosity. You've gotta be curious, and you've got to be okay with asking the questions, like the five whys, really digging into what the problem space is. Especially with design systems, because we're helping create efficiencies for the actual designers on the team. So if we can surface pain points, then that return on investment could be huge for the business. But we have to know, so we have to be in their face, and we have to be asking the questions. And so um, that would probably be the most important thing for me. If we're talking like technical skills,
Yeah.
if you want to be on the design side, you have to know the tools. So if Figma is the thing that your company uses, you've got to know Figma, like the back, front, left, right side of your hand. It's got to be something you can do in your sleep. And anytime that there's a new feature or an update, like you got to be the first one to figure out how to use it.
Oh, okay. Y'all heard it here first. Listen, curiosity and staying in the know. If you don't know, you better you better know. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Okay.
Exactly.
So Doris, I hope I'm saying that right. Doris Singleton. She has a question. Was it easier to break into text since you were already trained in graphic design?
Um, no, I think like it gave me leverage on the visual side,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of overlap between just visual design principles from graphic to UX. But I hadn't really done the research side of things before, so there was a huge learning curve on how to do research, what it is, what the different types research methodologies were, how to even collect valuable information from users and people who I was interviewing. So it's kind of two sides of the coin. Like I've seen people who are really good at research but not design, and really good at design but don't really know how to do the research. So there's usually always an area that's lacking, even if you have some previous experience.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to piggyback off of that question real quick.
Mm.
So if you could go back to graphic design, would you?
No.
Oh, well.
And I mean, I still do a little bit. Like I'll still create
Mhm.
some logos and do some branding projects for people. Um, but I think that the graphic design industry is getting a little bit watered down from like Fivers and Upworks of the world, where people think that it's $5 and you can get the most amazing thing. Um, so it's it's a world where you have to branch out on your own if you want to really make a mark
Yeah.
and have the same lifestyle that you would as a UX designer,
Yeah.
just like working a regular 40 hours a week. Or you could go and like have your own agency and work 60 hours a week and still get to that level. So it's just a lot more work and a lot more effort to get to the same place.
That's fair. That's fair. I will say them $5 logos is probably not the way to go, y'all. I'm just letting you know. Probably
Please don't.
don't want to do it. I wouldn't, but to each his own. So, but from you heard it from me. Don't do it. Um, so Tiffany wants to know what's the culture like at LinkedIn?
Um, it's fantastic. They're very employee first, and so they put a lot of money and equity into their workforce, into their employees. They give us lots of days off. We have these things called end days where we get to just have a theme and take the day off of work and do something within that theme. And they put on workshops. Um, so it's a great culture. They're definitely not looking for people who fit in. Their culture is kind of finding the person that stands out from the crowd and how they can um, make their voice be heard and be seen. And so coming from experience, like through my interview process, I didn't go the conventional route with like my portfolio presentation or any of that. and they were able to kind of see the purpose through what I was trying to convey with that, with not going conventional, and really latch onto that. And so that's something that I really appreciate. And I know that some of the people who I've met along the way have appreciated that they were willing to kind of put their money where their mouth is and say, you know, we preach this, so we're going to show you that we mean it.
Oh, I love that. Wow, that's really good. So would you say that for somebody interviewing for LinkedIn, like what would be the best way to show that they are different and they do stick out from the crowd? Like what's the best way to show that?
You have to know what your thing is. Like, what is your superpower? And so for me, it's a little easier because I've been in the design system space for a while. But what is that thing for you? Is it the design side? Is it your speaking skills? Like, what is the thing that makes you you and that gets you fired up about the work that you do? And how can you display that when you're talking with people?
Oh, I love it. That's so good.
And so when, like, during my interview process, I see systems as like humans. Like, each one is different. At each company, it's different. And so they each take on a life of their own. And so my goal for my portfolio review was to show that life that each one of the systems that I've worked on has had. Instead of just saying, this is what I did, then I did this, then I did this, and then this was the outcome. I was like, no, let me like paint this picture for you.
Oh, I love that concept of painting the picture. Oh, that's really good. I'm about to use that. I'm gonna use that one. Alan has a question. Are there any resources you would like to recommend to study when it comes to developing design systems?
The best thing to do is to go and like study them. Like, there's a lot of public facing systems like Google's Material, Adobe has their Spectrum system, Shopify's Polaris is really big. Like, there's a lot of public facing systems out there that you can go and study and see what they do and why they did it, and why that's important to them, because you know they have their documentation that's there. But outside of that, I'd say probably the gold standard for design system literature is probably Atomic Design. So if you can read Atomic Design, and there's a couple other books. There's like an Intro to Design Systems that is by one of the VPs of design at Shopify. That's a really good read. But it's just about being curious and studying, and that's really how I got into systems. Was I was curious about it, and I studied them and I just built them. I was like, hey, I'm at a company, you don't have one, I'm just going to make you one. I don't care if I have to do it in my spare time, or, you know, if nobody else thinks that this thing is going to be valuable to the company, I'm going to do it because this is something that I think is valuable.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm sorry about that, y'all. When I stepped out, my internet's kind of wacky today. It's Wednesday. We just gotta make it through the week. Just gotta make it through the week. Come on. Uh, so we do have another question. What is the correlation between wireframing and I'm sorry, hold on. Let me see, make sure I get this right. Wireframing and design systems?
I think that if you have an established system, it can kind of help fill in some of the gaps with wireframing. So typically you're trying to construct an idea for a potential layout within a wireframe. And so if there's an existing system that, you know, your company or organization uses, it can help jumpstart that ideation process. So typically a good design system won't solve all of your problems, but it'll kind of give you like your left and right rails. Like, imagine if you were bowling and you put up the kiddie rails. It's not going to guarantee you get a strike, but it's going to make sure you hit the pins. So that's typically all a design system is trying to do. We don't necessarily want to force you to solve a particular problem in a certain way. We just want to guide everybody down a similar path. So that way all of our products have consistent experiences.
Okay. I love that. Oh, tell us a bit about your love for sneakers. Have you competed in any sneaker design competitions?
I have not done any sneaker design competitions, but that would probably be a blast. It's just the craftsmanship of sneakers and like the whole history about how sneakers have impacted like the Black community and like just this really amazing form of self-expression that they bring.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that's the thing for me is like I don't really care for spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on clothes, but if you give me a nice pair of shoes, I will spend the money all day, every day. And it's like my little way of um, expression because it can you can wear a suit with sneakers, you can wear jeans and the t-shirt with sneakers, you can they can go with anything. And so even if I have to be buttoned up for a work meeting, I can still, have that little bit of Jarvis on my feet.
Okay. So you telling me is you getting in the lines for the Jordans? Is that what you're saying in the background?
Um, I mean, I'm in Oklahoma City, so we don't really have the best sneaker stores here,
Hmm.
but I do my best. Like if for anybody who's into sneakers in the crowd, I just hit on the University Blue Sixes the other day, so I'm waiting for those to come in the mail. Um, and then I
Hmm.
just have like I'm into all sneakers, not just Jordan. So I have a pair of Blazers that are coming in hopefully today. I mean, we kind of got some crazy weather, so I don't know if they're going to deliver it today, but I'm waiting on those to come in the mail.
Hmm.
And so,
Well, okay
yeah,
then.
if we had a line that I could wait in here, I would be waiting in it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You might have to come to New York to hit them lines up because we got them. We got the Jordans there.
I'm
We got the lines.
there's a store in New York that a friend of mine just told me about called Extra Butter, and
Extra,
hmm and
extra butter. Okay.
yeah, and so they
Where is it? Is that in Soho? I feel like that's in
I
Soho.
think they have a Soho location,
Hmm.
but yeah, so they're one of my go-to places if like the regular Nike sneaker app doesn't work. I have my others that I will look at outside of that. So that just got put on my list. So I might have to make a trip to New York just to go to the store.
Listen, let us know. We can have a whole MMC sneaker meetup. I don't know much about sneakers. I'm just, I'm speaking for the sneakerheads. I'm channeling my inner sneakerhead for everybody in the crowd. So, that's awesome. That's awesome. Um, is data involved in making design systems decisions?
Yes. So there's kind of two different ways that we will do it. Research is definitely a thing that is important to use into your system and to have those data points that back up why this thing is a thing that even needs to be in the system. So we will sometimes do that research ourselves and gather that data ourselves. But 9 times out of 10, we will rely on product teams to do that. Um, just because not everything is big enough to make it into the system right away. So oftentimes, an individual or maybe even a few teams will have a need that's specific to those teams, but not large enough to go into the system. And they will do that research and they will make the thing. And then if that grows over time and spans enough teams, and we'll look at that as an adoption into the system. And then we can do the like secondary research to make sure that we're accounting for all use cases for the different teams that need it.
Oh, wow. You also mentioned a little bit in your presentation that you guys are the bridge between the teams.
Mhm.
So across how many teams do you guys work with? Like, is it engineering and then maybe a little bit of marketing? Like, how does that work?
Um, so typically, all of the product teams um, are standard that we work with. We have at LinkedIn, we have our engineering counterparts who are who they kind of handle the engineering side, but we do meet regularly to make sure that we're both aligned on the route that we want to go with things. But we do collaborate with marketing as well to make sure that anything that's brand related is translated into the product correctly. So brand colors, our type stacks, how we use the logo, all of those types of things we partner with marketing with.
Oh, perfect. I got to tell you, because Chanel and I work pretty closely together. All you guys know Chanel, the CEO. Chanel has a design background. I'm a software engineer, and I keep telling her, I'm like, girl, I don't have a design bone in my body. Like, she will tell me to design something and everything's like pink. And she's like, well, why is it pink? I'm like, I just like pink. Like, what's the problem? So I feel like I really respect designers in general because there's so much thought put behind it. And I really I really love all the energy that goes into it because I didn't think it took that much energy, but clearly it does, and I'm learning this all through this series, so I really appreciate that. um we have a question from Melissa. Melissa asked, have you found it easy to show up as yourself through your entire career in user design, or was that something you've had to ease into?
Definitely had to ease into it. It did not come naturally. It didn't come right away. I'm definitely more of the introverted type of person. So even doing things like this early in my career were not a thing. I would have been like, nope, no way you're getting me on anybody's live, anybody's stage, none of that. Um, it it really the light bulb switched for me when I was just at a place where I realized that I was changing who I was to fit in
Oh, that's deep.
instead of um, like having like expressing myself and feeling like that was something that would be embraced. Um, and so it kind of took a bad situation for me to realize even what I was doing and the part that I played in it. And so from then on out, it's been like take me as I am or not at all. Even to the point where I have like tattoos and stuff that are all on my arms. Like previous to that, it was like, I can't go below the elbow because that's not professional.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? Like, I want to do what I want to do. And the right place will accept that.
I love that. So do you believe that LinkedIn aligns with that moral that you have?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, um, especially based off of the way I interviewed, that they embraced that and really embrace like the passion that I have for like design systems and even just design education in general.
Mhm.
And have like since I've started there, it's been how can we give you things to do that align with those goals. So like right now, one of the things I'm doing is like creating onboarding for the design system, and so that's like right up my alley because um,
Mhm.
I think about documentation and how we can create education for systems that spans all the different learning styles and um, how we can kind of be inclusive internally with the things that we're doing.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, it was something that they kind of spotted in the interview process. And my manager is always like, hey, like, if I'm putting too much on you, let me know. But like, I feel like this is something that you'd be really interested in. And she's been on the money every time. So,
Oh, that's perfect. So, out of what you could tell us, because I know you most likely can't disclose everything, what was the interview process like for LinkedIn?
um, yeah, I can give you the general because it's on their site. So there's 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
The first round is just a call with a recruiter just to get to know you, tell you about the position, see if it's something you're interested in, see if they feel like you're a good fit for that position and you're checking off some of the high level boxes that they need checked for that position. Um, then the second round is with a hiring manager. Sometimes it's like 1 or 2 different people that you talk with.
Mm-hmm.
Those are quick, like, 45 minutes, an hour each. And then if you make it through that round, you go through to their virtual on-site, which is for designers, it's a portfolio presentation, and then you have other one-on-ones with designers across the org. Um, and then that's it. And then they give you a yes or no within a week. So it's pretty quick. I think it took 2 or 3 weeks tops to get through the
Oh
whole
wow!
process.
Just so y'all know, that's pretty short for a very
Yeah.
big company like LinkedIn. Usually, for other companies who need not to be named, it's like 2 months.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
was
2 months.
thoroughly surprised.
Yeah.
And one of the other things is that they really prioritize like mental health and that you take time to yourself. So they will encourage you to take a break
Hmm.
between jobs. So like if they hire you, they will purposely schedule your start date a month and a half out,
Come
so that you
on.
can take some time to yourself.
Mm, listen, take us to church with that one. I think everybody needs to adopt that, okay? That's perfect. I really like that. I really like that. Um, I want to get into a little bit about what your schedule was when you were self-teaching, because I feel like a lot of our audience, right, they're either in boot camps or they're just trying to break in or they're self-teaching. What did that daily schedule look like? Because I want to let people know like what the nitty-gritty is.
Um, it was tough. So I was working full time as a graphic designer,
Hmm.
but I also did freelance work outside of that.
Hmm.
And so that was the main place that I tried to apply the things that I was learning. And so I would do branding projects and web design projects were like the main two things that I did on the freelance side. And so they aligned really well with a typical like product design process. Um, and so I leveraged those and like rewrote things in my portfolio to be case studies and like in case study format instead of just being like, hey, here's this logo. What do you think? It was like this was the purpose behind the logo. These were the things that the client needed the logo to represent. This is how I matched the colors and the symbolism to represent what they needed it to. And then like these were maybe some sketches I had. These were the options that I submitted. These were like some of the revisions and like really went through step by step, even on projects that weren't considered UX design, just to show that um, I was thinking in the correct way.
Okay.
And it just made my portfolio look bigger than it really was because I maybe had like one or two actual applications in it. But
Okay.
yeah, it was just about trying to think outside the box
Hmm.
and kind of create my own box to be like, I know that branding isn't UX design, but the way that you think about it could align a lot closer than you may think at surface.
So while you were studying, were there any like tools or systems that you really like to use on a day-to-day basis?
Um, Figma wasn't a thing at the time, so it was mostly Sketch.
Okay.
Um, and then, I mean, Adobe Suite was my best friend. Sketch was, I feel like I was really bad at Sketch the entire time I used it. Um, and then Figma came out, and I got really good at it. Um,
Uh-huh.
but it was leveraging tools like LinkedIn. Like I could probably be the LinkedIn spokesperson because it is literally the platform that paved the way for me to level up my career and to learn design because I feel like UX is a industry of transitioners
Hmm.
to where there's not really a solid degree program for it yet. And there's boot camps, but even the people in boot camps started somewhere else first, and so
Yeah.
people were really willing to share their knowledge and their information, and so um, that's kind of why I do that now. Where when people reach out to me, I'm like, yeah, like we can talk. I'll find some time, like whatever I can do to help you on your journey because somebody was willing to do that for me,
Hmm.
and so I feel like it's just being open, um, trying to think outside the box and make your own box and make your own way. And if you just stay true to yourself, then it'll happen.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard that. You better run on over to his LinkedIn. Be the first one to ask for that coffee chat. I'm just I just dropped the keys. It's up to y'all to pick it up, okay? Um, I do want to ask a question a little bit about imposter syndrome. Yes. So throughout your journey, I feel like you alluded to it a little bit, but
Mhm.
have you experienced imposter syndrome? To what degree? And then what did you do to overcome it?
um, yeah, definitely, still do. I feel like that's a forever battle that I will face. Um,
Yeah.
it was just for me, it was the realization. It was like outward confirmation that I knew what I was doing.
Hmm.
Especially when it came to the design system space. I had a great mentor who kind of like really took me under his wing and was like, no, like you actually know what you're doing and you're really good at this. Um, to like give me that confidence.
Yeah.
Um, but it was just stopping that self-doubt of, oh, like, I don't know if that's something that I can do, and be like, nope, you haven't even tried. Like, you can't say that you can't do it if you haven't tried yet. And just being willing to fail and being okay with that. Because one thing that I try and preach to the mentees that I have is that UX design isn't an exact science. We're out here making educated guesses on solutions to these problems that we find within our products. And so that's kind of freeing, because like we will test it, like we will do usability testing later on and like make sure the thing works. But initially it's just a guess, and it's okay if you get it wrong. We can start it over and do it all over again. Like, it's okay. And like coming to that realization that it's okay to fail and it's okay to get it wrong was a huge epiphany. And it's something that kind of keeps me on track now to be like, okay, you don't really know what you're doing, but that's all right. Like, you're going to learn. And each time you do this, you're going to get a little bit better.
Oh yeah. That's good right there. Especially the part where you talk about being okay with failure. Listen.
It's tough.
I'm just like, where's the manual? Like, no one's gonna drop a manual. No one's gonna say like, this is how you do it. This is
That's
how
the
to do
hard
it.
part, is especially with design, is like, I feel like education has taught us to think within the bounds that they set for us. So like elementary school, high school, even college is like, this is where you think. And design is like, you need to be out here. And
Exactly.
so realizing that there's not a singular path to get to a solution is hard for people to understand, because they're used to 2 + 2 = 4, when it could be 64 if you're a designer. Like, who's to say that that's wrong?
I love that.
Yeah, so changing that mentality is hard.
Okay. Yeah. Trust me, I'm going through it right now. Trust me. I get it. I get it. When does the support group meet up is the question.
Daddy, see my gel?
Yeah.
It's halfway done.
Looks good. Go finish it.
Okay. I'll show you when it's finished.
Okay. He's building something with Legos. I guess he's getting into systems too.
Listen, I was just about to ask. That's a great segue. See? I wanted to know if there's any point in time while you're working that your son is very interested in what you're doing. He wants to. Is he like? Do you see like a little bit of a designer in him? Expressed it at least. I'm just curious.
He's not super interested in like what I actually do on the computer. He is definitely interested in meetings. Like, he wants to talk to people. But
So he's a communicator.
Definitely, but he's got more of an artistic side than I do. Like, he will do his drawings and paintings, and like all of the stuff that's over here is stuff that he's done. And he's got others that I haven't put up yet, but yeah, he's tapped into his creativity a lot sooner than I did.
So what are some ways that you foster that creativity?
It's just about, I think the biggest thing is to not say no to everything. I know it's like busy parents are like, no, like, I don't have time for that. You can't do that. You're going to make a mess. Like, I don't want to clean it up. But just being like, you know what? It's okay. He'll be like, can I paint? I'll be like, sure.
I love that.
Not knowing how that's going to turn out. And because saying yes, you can paint, for him, he's going to go get the paint, like set it up, do all of that. And I'm like, I don't even know where we have paint. I don't know if he can reach it. I don't know if it's open right now, but I'm just going to be okay with it because I'm in this meeting and I can't really go and help him.
Yeah.
I literally did that last week. And I got out my meeting and he had painted this whole owl, like picked the colors himself. He even like mixed his own colors because he didn't have like a brown or like some darker shades and stuff. And he like mixed his own colors, and yeah, I was like,
oh wow, that's
how did you know to do that? Because he's only 4.
He's only 4.
So he's only 4.
Wow.
Yeah, he'll be 5 in May.
Yes, that amount of curiosity. It's almost like a slippery slope. You don't know whether to feed it or to like. or to do something else. But I really love that. I really love that. That is the last bit of questions that we have today. Unless somebody has like one more question, but that is the last bit of questions we have today. I just want to take a quick minute to thank you so much for joining us. A lot of people have so many great comments to say. Tiffany said, loving the openness and honesty in this convo. Um, Melissa said, Jarvis is giving us UX Super Soul Sunday vibe. So listen, so what y'all saying in the background is what y'all really want him to come back. Y'all want Jarvis to come back?
Anytime, anytime.
Okay, cool. I love that. I love that. We will definitely be taking you up on that offer. Again, we will drop Jarvis's LinkedIn in the chat. Is there anywhere else we can follow you, follow your journey?
LinkedIn would probably be the best place, but I do have a Twitter at JMO Designs 10 and an Instagram that I don't really use as much. But if you want to see some of my like graphic design stuff, you can follow me there at JMO PND.
JMO, say that again.
PND. I used to do a lot of photography too. So.
Oh really? How does that tie into the work that you do now? You done. I gotta.
Photography was a love I had before I got into design, and it was just I think that's kind of what sparked the creative outlet for me. Was I don't really like to do a lot of pose stuff. I like to just catch people in nature, I guess is the best way to put it. I like the candid photos of people just being people. And so it was just about just capturing these moments in time that I really enjoyed. And it was a way for me to like decompress and get out of my head. And I don't do it as much. I don't do as many paid gigs for photography anymore, but I do a lot of stuff with my kids and stuff just as a hobby to decompress from a long week.
Oh, wow. I love that. I like hearing about people's lives outside of work because I feel like people have this stigma that folks that work in tech don't do anything other than type away at computers all day or, drinking coffee and doing the most. But so I love hearing about that outside aspect. But again, I will wrap it up. I will give you guys back, y'all, Wednesday nights. Thank you again for joining us. Again, this is our last episode of Design on Purpose. Jarvis, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank y'all.
We're going to bring you back. I promise.
Can't wait.
Okay? All right, y'all. So y'all have a good night. Bye.